Some people have been saying this for a while where could Uber support actually be running some scams? You know what? My initial thoughts, and let's see if this changes, are no, Uber support is not, because everything is tracked inside. And if there was anything that was going against it, there could be some potential issues there when it comes to, well, a lot of things. So it is very tracked. I'm going to say that. But on the other side, some of the places that these people are working at could potentially be notorious scam call centers down the road, or doing certain things during the day, and at night they're not, and they're doing shady, or they're using certain fronts in order to conduct shady business. It happens, unfortunately. So it's just being smart on the information that you're giving and providing. But when it comes down to it, I don't think Uber support necessarily is in on scams in any way. And when it comes to certain support scams, like the Uber support scam not being Uber support, but somebody claiming that they're from Uber support and you won money or whatever. Again, these people are going to alert you multiple ways. They're going to send an email to you, they're going to send a text, and they're going to send an in-app notification. If you're getting a text or a phone call from somebody and it says this is from your passenger, do not give out information when they actually play that at the beginning of a call. That should be a dead giveaway that says this is not support. But again, it's also followed up by these in-app notifications and emails that nobody else would have that information. So if it's only coming in a call, that that's not an inside job. Some of these other things, again, it seems like it might not. It seems like it might be, but in actuality, it's not. And there's some real reason on why. So we'll talk about that. But let's get into this email that somebody had sent us and talk about these why this person thinks that Uber driver scams could be inside jobs.
Yeah, I mean, this gentleman actually was featured on an actual scam that took place. And the one that they says they call like after a milestone trip, like 2,500, 4,000, whatever. And he believed him. He gave him his info, and he got taken for it. And then we actually highlighted this gentleman before, and this time he was like, hey, this was last week. He goes, "Hi Sergio, you and Chris stated Uber doesn't call you for any reason, but that's inaccurate." I'm like, okay, I'm all ears now, because we said that and we stand by it that Uber does not, unless they change some policy somewhere that they're doing it now, because I literally have never gotten a call from Uber. But anyway, because it's inaccurate, I just received this notification from Uber and a voicemail on my phone asking if everything is fine. I'm going like, well, that sounds like a scam to me. This might be a scam or not, but I believe those scams to transfer over your earnings to Uber Pro debit cards are inside jobs. I'm just putting it up, and then you guys have your own opinions. We inform, educate, and this is the information part. You can develop your own opinions about this. These Uber support teams overseas know our trips and milestones. Do you actually think a rider is going to know all this information right away, and the next day know your phone number, call you and try to transfer your earnings to an Uber debit card? I appreciate you posting it on SMTMC podcast last time, and I was truly scammed. I'm like, yeah, he was scammed, and then somebody took his money. And then this is the message he got from Uber. And I have the voicemail coming from Uber support. And I'm going like, I don't know. I mean, is there some inside stuff going on? The other thing is, I don't put it behind them, because, support is all over the world with Uber. I mean, there may be some people at Uber support selling your info to some scammers. I have no idea. I'm not saying that, Uber. I know you are, Alex. I'm not saying that. I'm just pointing something out. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is the second time this guy, but this time he was like smart. He was like, no, I'm not even going to pick up the phone. I'm not even going to attempt it to pick up the phone. I'm not going to respond to anything, because last time he got taken for like a few $100. So I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think?
All right. Well,
yeah, two-step verification. Yeah.
So for those who don't know, I call scammers and waste their time and have a lot of fun doing it, because the stuff that we can get them to do or say or anything like that, it's a lot of fun to really screw with them because they're so focused and hyper focused on trying to get the money that they don't have any freaking idea what's going on. And you wonder, how are they that stupid? It's because they're so hyper focused. So one of the things is that I have to do is step back and kind of look at everything. So let me break this one down for you. First off, this is actually going around 2 drivers right now. I was in Chicago, and a driver that I was with actually showed me this exact same, or well, something very similar to this.
Okay.
And basically, Uber support did reach out to them, trying to call them. And this was a driver who was doing many, many rides a week, and then changed their whole way of doing Uber, and they have dropped the amount of rides that they're doing and taking much less. So this is something where, again, we were talking about how Lyft had sent this to you, Sergio,
Yep.
when it
Yep.
came to support because you didn't drive for quite a while.
Yep.
So this looks like this is actually just something that both Uber and Lyft are kind of doing. There's certain key points that they may try to flag drivers on. Not only that, Uber is pushing for a ton of drivers. I don't know if you've seen their latest marketing ploys when it comes to sending out videos and these
Yeah.
30-second videos
Hilarious.
for new drivers, but they are pushing hard for drivers. Whether this is all connected is probably true. But yes, Uber has been reaching out to drivers. And yes, scammers, when it comes to these support scammers, they know how many rides you have. So they will actually look at that information because it shows on your little report there. It shows how many rides you've given and all that. It gives very little information that you should probably actually look at and become familiar with what's on there. But when it comes to Uber support, when it actually is from @uber.com, that's a tall tale sign that it is coming straight from Uber itself, not from anything else or somebody else. Yes, you need to look at where it's coming from, the email itself. So if it
Okay.
says Uber support or uber.support@gmail.com, that's a scam. That's not real because that's not actually coming from Uber. You always want to look at uber.com because that's their thing. At lyft.com, at doordash.com. Any company, it's got to be at thatcompany.com because that's their whole thing.
Okay.
If it says anything but that at Gmail, at Verizon, at Hotmail, at AOL, whatever, at grtzcs.cz, not real. So again, that's one thing to do. But yes, actually, this has been happening. They have been trying to contact drivers, so we are going to say that. When it comes to the Uber Pro and the debit card, that could just be something that support is trying to push drivers to get into. That's not nefarious in any way. You just need to know the fine print when it comes to the Uber Pro debit card, if you even want that. If you don't want it, just say, no, I don't want it. Thanks very much. Have a great day. What's the worst that's going to happen? You hang up the phone after saying no, that's it.
Yeah.
But if they're going to try to get you into the Uber Pro debit card or order the Uber Pro debit card, well, be very, very paying attention to that fine print. Whether you think it's worth it or not, you already have a bank, probably, hopefully. If you do, just continue doing it that way. There's no real bonus or anything I see when it comes to the Uber Pro debit card, but this could be something that Uber could potentially be trying to be pushing its support staff to try to push to drivers to try to get them on the Uber Pro debit card for whatever goal or reason that they want to do, where it's not necessarily nefarious or trying to steal drivers' monies or anything like that. This is something where you just gotta say no, and if they're pushy about it, that's usually another telltale sign that it could be a potential scam. If they're saying, okay, we just wanted to see, we just wanted to check, if they're real cool about it. After you say no, if they still continue pushing or if they somewhat threaten you, that's an issue, and that's where it's again likely a scam. Or if you're actually talking to Uber support at that point, I would hang up the phone and then call back Uber support again and say, look, the person I was just talking to, they were really pushing hard on this. Check into this, and then they can actually see, was that truly from Uber? Who was it? All of that information. So you could really figure that out when it comes down to it.
Well, so we take, but I mean, now we have to take it back because we said multiple times on the show, even Uber pushed messages saying that Uber will never call you, right? So this goes against all that. This goes against all that. So now it makes it more confusing for driver, let's say an immigrant who doesn't speak well English or scared, he wants to lose job or whatever, this kind of makes it more difficult for the driver now to decide, is this a scam or is this not a scam, or is they really interested in my well-being or whatever. So I don't know. I mean,
The
I put it up
the
just
easiest
to
thing to
say
do
that,
is the easiest thing to do is not answer your phone and let these emails or in-app notifications come through. And you don't have to answer your phone. Hey, they don't want to answer their phone, you don't have to answer your phone. It's a two-way street that way. But when it comes down to it, you always got to stay vigilant on things. Now, I don't think this is in any way a particular scam. I think he's just hyper vigilant because it happened to him. And rightfully so. You should be paying attention to that. But yes, Uber has been calling. They will call. I've had Uber call me when it came to a safety issue. And that was basically when somebody was getting in my face and I made a report. They called me within like literally 2 minutes of me filing the report to Uber. So that I know that they will call you in certain circumstances. Now it does appear that they are trying to call drivers for certain things. One other thing when it comes to them getting your phone number, because somebody did highlight something in here, it says, do you actually think a rider is going to know all this information right away? Some of it, yes, they will. And the next day they could know your phone number by a couple of ways. And this is something that you really need to pay attention to. First off, they can get your phone number by dialing your number. And then if you have a voicemail that says, hi, you have reached number, whatever your phone number is, now they can write down your phone number and they have your phone number. So that is something to change immediately if that's how your voicemail is set up. You could have it, hey, you've reached Sergio. I'm not here right now. Call me or leave a message and I'll call you back. Whatever it is, like, don't have your number playing, because the reason why that they mask the number is for both driver and rider protection. But on the flip side, a passenger could say they left something in your car and could potentially get your number that way. So yeah, they can get your number through that means, but that means that it was a rider who already came in your car. And yeah, they could be scam artists. They could have gotten in your car. They could have been the nicest people you know. They could have been fishing for some information. Some people are very, very well at doing that. And then the last piece of information that they needed was a phone number. And they said, hey, Uber support. Yeah, I left something in the car, I think. And I was wondering if I could reach out to that driver. Sometimes they'll give that number out. So just be careful when it comes to that. The whole thing, though, is when it comes to the Uber Pro debit card, truly read the fine print on it. If you don't want to do something, or if you feel like you're being coerced into something, just say no. If for any reason they're pushing it more or getting nasty or anything like that, hang up the call and report it to Uber or something like that. See what's going on. Do your due diligence that way. But when it comes to true Uber support, when it comes to true Lyft support, when it comes to any support whatsoever, they're going to maybe ask you the question, do you want the Uber Pro card, or do you want the Lyft debit card, or whatever it might be? If you say no, 99% of the time, they're going to drop it and say, okay, we just want to check. If you have any reconsiderations on that, you can always reach back out to Uber support or Lyft support or whatever it might be. And then for real, that's support, because that's usually how they always end some sort of call, is if you want to change your mind, you can, but they're not pushing it about it or anything like that.
Yeah, so that's good advice. Now that we know they're calling, I mean, look, man, make your own decision. I will not talk to anybody that when Uber calls, period. No ifs, no buts about it. If I need you, I'll call you, don't call me. That's it. That's my attitude when it comes to that. So.
Exactly.
All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you'll be notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.